Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. President Obama is a few months into his second term as president, so I'm going to give him a midterm grade here. Now the truth is, we're never going to know what kind of president he might have been, because so much of his energy has had to be spent cleaning up the mess left by the previous administration. He did end our involvement in Iraq, and we're on our way out of Afghanistan. And the economy is slowly recovering, despite constant attempts by the GOP to sabotage it. But it could be much better had Obama not been so eager to compromise with the GOP when he first started his term. The stimulus was way too small, and too much of it was made up of tax breaks, which are the least effective tool in the box as far as creating jobs and economic growth. Also, as part of the bank bailout, his administration should have gotten more concessions from the banks, including protections for homeowners and the separation of investment and commercial banks. And as Attorney General, Eric Holder has been way too cozy with the banks, failing to prosecute criminal behavior on far too many occasions. And these Republicans that spent like drunken sailors during the Bush administration all of a sudden started pretending that they cared about the deficit, and Obama fell for it. That was being a sucker. That was not the time to worry about the deficit. They were just using that as a ploy to slow down the economic recovery. By the way, our deficit has decreased every year under Obama. Had Mitt Romney been elected, it would have exploded with his tax plan of huge, wasteful tax breaks for the rich, and the economy would have gone in the tank again. But Obama was way too focused on the Affordable Care Act. And it does have some good things in it, but is actually a very conservative attempt to maintain our healthcare system as it is. And that's not sustainable. All that Obamacare does is shore up a system for a few extra years that will ultimately fail. When Congress prevented Obama from closing the prison at Guantanamo Bay, he just simply backed away from it. What he should have done was fought. Gitmo is an abomination, and its continued existence is an affront to everything America stands for. It was cowardice not to fight for its closure, and it was cowardice not to go after the Bush administration officials involved in the torture program. A precedent has been set that you can be a war criminal and get away with it here in the United States. Obama has also continued many Bush policies and even signed bills expanding the government's ability to snoop into our private lives. Now, I'm not as dead set against drone strikes as some people are. Sometimes they're the only way to get at certain terrorists in areas that are not readily accessible. I mean, we can't go invading a whole lot of countries. But the drone program has kind of taken on a life of its own. It's used way too often. Too many mistakes are made. We're making way too many enemies from it. The Obama administration's handling of the Benghazi incident was a complete fiasco. But it is nowhere near the scandal the GOP is trying to make it out to be, especially when you look at the Bush administration's mishandling of, well, everything. Obama has been a vast improvement over them. Take, for example, FEMA, which is once again in the hands of professionals instead of political hacks, and is actually helpful and efficient. Now I'm sure that there are a lot of things I'm leaving out of this video, both positive and negative. So feel free to add them to the comment section. And I guess in grading Obama, you have to factor in the fact that the Republicans are no longer willing to put partisanship aside for the good of the country. They may talk about scandals of the Obama administration, but the biggest scandal right now in this country is their shocking lack of patriotism. But overall, I'd have to say Obama has been a disappointment. I'd have to give him an overall grade of C-. Thanks for listening.